Hey guys, this is Alex from Wilkinson Audio. I'm going to use the spray paint kit today to paint this SM57, which I've removed the transformer from, and I now need it to look different than the rest of my microphone so I can quickly identify it. So I'm going to use some trim-clad rust paint and my spray paint kit, and we're going to make this microphone look cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sandpaper and I'm just going to lightly sand the surface of the SM57 just to give the paint, make it easier for the paint to adhere to the surface. This is 120 grit, you probably want to use like 400. But I'm actually planning to make this microphone look kind of like a World War II era type piece of equipment. So having it a little scratched up won't hurt the look I'm going for anyway. So just do this for a few minutes here. Looks like there's some kind of coating that's coming off. I sprayed one of these mics without doing this and the paint adhered pretty well, but this will probably help a bit. I imagine that's pretty close to enough. I'm just going to do a bit more up here. And that should give a pretty good surface for our SM57 or for our paint to cling on to. I'm just going to wipe this down with a wet paper towel just to get any of this debris off, this weird gray coating. So now I'm going to show you how to actually install the spray paint kit. Say you just wanted to spray paint the microphone one color at this point. You would just install it like so, with these going around the head basket of the microphone. And the side as well. And then from here you would just screw these screws through the holes here and screw those in, and then it would clamp around it. And then since you don't want paint to get into the XLR jack, you would use this component here, which is basically a plug for the end of the microphone that will prevent paint from entering. So you would just bolt that together and you just spray it just like that and you'd be done. I'm going to do a more advanced paint job, so I'm going to do some masking with paint tape first before I clamp it all down. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, so now that I'm done masking my microphone, I'm going to install the spray kit. Same way we just did it, but actually putting the screws in this time. These are going to be changed to Phillips screws because Allen screws take too long to screw in. Then we'll tighten them all down. Okay, it's ready for painting. I already put the plug in under the tape here, so the plug's already installed in there. It wouldn't really matter because the way I've masked it is keeping paint on anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much that. At the same time, I'm going to paint this mic cap of mine, one of my modified mic caps you can get off my website. I'm going to paint this as well to match the paint job of this microphone. Okay, so now we're ready to paint. So we'll just do light coats with our spray paint. Probably too heavy-handed for first coat, but this isn't the most important thing in the world, so whatever. Okay, so now that it's dry, we're going to see how we did. Taking out the bolts. And we didn't get any paint on our head basket. And let's just remove our masking tape here. Okay, so there's the bottom. So this is what we have so far. Let me just focus the camera on this. And it's kind of looking pretty cool already. I'm going to put WA-1 for Wilkinson Audio 1 on the top. And then I'm going to spray paint like an American Army star here and probably a white stripe around the bottom. And that will complete the microphone. You can see some of the scratches showed through the paint because I only did the one coat, but that's totally fine with me. Like, that looks cool anyway, so very cool. Okay, and for the next part, to do the stenciling on the microphone, we're going to unscrew the bottom cap of the microphone body. And we're going to insert this semicircle here into the gap that we've unscrewed and push it in. Then we're going to cinch the microphone body back down on it by twisting it. So now it's locked in place. And from here, we take these pieces, these small triangles, which are labeled right 1, right 2, left 1, and left 2. And we place them accordingly onto each side of this piece, and then we screw them down. And what these do is they cinch onto the stencil lettering strip, so we can position it over the microphone body and then clamp it down where we want it. So we're going to start with W. So we need this strip of letters that has the W, and we're going to lay it across in position and screw it down. So I'll just get these started here. We can slide the stencil through. And then we'll do the other side. Pull it through. So the W is where we want it. And then we'll screw these down to clamp it down to the microphone. And these will pull it taut against the microphone so that when you stencil or paint it, it won't leak paint. Also, you could just use like a Sharpie, like a silver Sharpie or something, if you just wanted to label your microphone using these stencils. Alright, and we're ready to spray the W. We just need to mask off the surrounding area. So here's our first letter that we'll spray, is this W. I'm using the same paint, just in white. Normally it'd be a good idea to wait for the paint to dry, but I'm in a hurry, so I'm going to see if I can just do all the labeling while the paint is still wet, and we'll see how that goes. Cool, so that letter looks good. Since the W isn't quite dry yet, I'm going to skip the next letter, and then I'm going to skip the A and go to the dash. That way the plastic won't touch the W at all, and it won't matter if it's wet still. So I'm just going to rotate this a little bit further, leaving enough room for the A. Clamp it down again. And we're going to use the dash here. So that dash turned out perfectly as well, which is great. So now we're stenciling the last stencil, just the number 1. Okay, so now that everything's painted, we're just going to take the screws out again. Okay, it's time for the big unveiling of the final microphone paint job. So I'm just going to switch out the head cap here for this guy, and the microphone will be complete. Cool. I might repaint it with matte paint in the proper color, but for a test, yeah, this worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.